You ain't seen nothing yet.
Customers, the Athletic. Jamie, what did you like overall about tonight's win?
I mean, it was, start to finish, some small areas, but the approach was outstanding. Knowing your opponent, understanding how physical the game was going to be, and exceeding that, playing together, carrying the game plan out to a T and doing it together. All things that our guys have done the majority of the year, but put it on full display tonight.
Did you get a sense at all, I guess, of like a sense of urgency, like in a way, just kind of coming off of the Nuggets and the Hawks game at all, coming into this game?
Yeah, we had conversations like we always do. Like this isn't just when we're in the gym together, we text messages, conversations, about the importance of what's in front of us. And, this was a big game for us, just to kind of get ourselves back on track and get our feet under us. After more so, the second part of that back-to-back, we knew we would be tested. I thought we executed the game, properly offensively, and took advantage of where we had our strengths.
You're a writer, 93 through fan. JB, you talked about early before the game, taking care of the basketball, going against their physicality. Only 13 turnovers. I think he had 30 assists on 40-plus field goals. Just talk about the way you guys took care of the ball and also shared it.
Yeah, I think it was 3 in the first half we had. But what that did was limit their fast break opportunities. They only had 6 fast break points, on the night. Again, that's execution of the game plan. That's taking advantage of what you see. Right? That's thinking the game and understanding where, again, you can beat your man. But now it's a matter of what the second guy is going to do and the reads that you have to make from there. That is playing through physicality and playing through contact, and then keeping your composure to continue to do it time and time again. If you turn the ball over versus this team, you're going to have a hard time winning. And I thought our guys were great tonight taking care of it.
Another spectacular scoring effort from Donovan. He probably won't receive many MVP votes, but I think it's fair to say that for you guys, he's been your MVP since coming here. Just touch on just the impact, not just tonight, but just overall on this team and the shot in the arm he's really given you guys.
He gives us a guy, who can take over games. He's a guy who shines in the brightest moments. You think about, and we talked about it before, but how many guys' numbers go up in the playoffs, right? Like that's extremely difficult to do when defenses are focused on slowing you down and stopping you. But most importantly is he's a part of the team, and I can't speak enough on that and how valuable that is from a guy who has the ability that he has, that his decision to never separate himself and just be a part of it. That's the most important thing.
Going off Daryl's point about protecting the basketball, how good was Darius tonight? 11 assists, not a single turnover.
That's what, we're asked before, like where Darius's growth was. And that was it, right? That's thinking the game. That's understanding the game. That's orchestrating the game. That's making the defense pay for whatever decisions that they make. And again, he knew we needed it. I don't know how many plus 39s we've had this year, if any, but that's a dominant performance, that may not always be told in the stat sheet.
And Evan took 6 triples tonight. That's a career high for him. Do you have a number for him, or you just trust him to do what he?
We just want Evan to play basketball, and if they're going to leave him open, shoot him with confidence. He puts in a ton of time working on it, and I do believe the better he gets there, the more that opens up the floor for everybody. So teams having to worry about him in that spot spaces the floor people have to be aggressive, and you don't just start taking those in the bigger games. You got to take them to build that habit.
Spencer Davies, basketball.com. Joji, actually, that's what I was going to say. But diversifying his game, Evan being in the corners where he's getting these threes, they're definitely generated that way. What do you see as the advantage of putting him there? Because we usually see Isaac there. You'll see Dean there sometimes. But he hasn't really been in the corner too much this year.
It's his first initial thing is to run the floor, right? He runs the floor, he gets flat, and then he gets out to the corners. And, we've got to do the job of finding him when he's running early because he has advantages in the post. But when teams work their way back, he gets out to the corner. That's the spacing that we're looking for. We've worked on it a ton. We end up in some isolation situations. Guys have a great idea now of where the ball handler wants them spaced, so where their outlets are. So he knows to get to those corners in those moments too.
Joe Garland, The Athletic. You used mostly 8 guys tonight, and you've done that, I think, a lot. Would you rather have a 9?
I think it will change depending on circumstances. Like tonight with their size, we tried to keep as many bigger guys on the floor as we could. 4 of those 5 starters, I think are going to end up playing heavy minutes. So now we're just trying to piece the guys around them that night, fit the matchups best. So, 8, 9 will probably be the most. And it could depend on, our opponent and what we need in the moment.
Frequency, as you know, of games slows down in the playoffs, so you get a little bit more rest. But you just said it. Your main guys are going to play major minutes. So do you need to prioritize rest for them over these last 20, or do you got to make sure you make the playoffs and get the 4 seed? What's the priority?
So our plan is, those guys are going to play minutes. We are fortunate the way that the schedule breaks down. We only have 1 more back-to-back. Mostly we got at least 1 in between. We've been, there's today with this one, we've got 2 in between. So what our priority is going to be is off-day management and making sure that those guys are fresh for 7 o'clock or whenever tip-off is, but not losing, the individual skill stuff that you may find slippage if you're not doing the work. So that's our plan, managing with the training staff, the weight staff, nutritionists, and all that stuff. That, down days are valuable down days, but in preparation for tip-offs.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
Statistically, coming into tonight, February was Donovan's worst month. What did you see that was different from him?
He was there when we needed him most. And I think that's who Donovan has been, not just here, but throughout his career. Whenever, the lights shine the brightest, Donovan shows up. We had conversation this morning, and, he said he got me. And we trust him, and he got it done.
What did you say to him before he said, I got you?
I'll keep that between us.
And then you talked before the game about just the physicality of the Raptors and how handsy they are. How did you feel like your guys handled that? And how much do you think playing against them the previous 3 times helped with that?
I thought they did a great job. We talked about, 3 turnovers in the first half. Playing against this type of team, this is what the games look like when you move forward. These last 19, 18, whatever it is that we have left, every possession is going to matter. The physicality is going to increase. Can you be the team that's hitting? And I think that's what we did a good job of, is like we didn't allow their physicality to rattle us. We turned that into a strength and started playing downhill and playing at speed. So as their aggression was moving them forward, now we had an advantage as we were playing downhill. And I thought it created some great stuff for us.
That's one, John.
John Lawrence, Sports Illustrated Media Group. Coach, did they give you any sort of explanation on that foul that was upgraded flagrant on Donovan, and then what do you think to kind of respond to that? Seemed like it was smart.
I think our guys did a good job. I don't want to throw anybody under the no. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. My challenge guy, but anyway, it was again, it's a judgment call on their part. Again, I don't know how you shoot a layup without lifting your leg up. What the intent was, but again, I thought Donovan went to go shoot a layup that you're taught in the third grade how to shoot a layup.
At a timeout, I think in the third quarter, you kind of were specifically out before talking to Donovan and waved Jay Nate over as he was coming off the floor. Can you share anything about that conversation, kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's where our mindset needed to be and what my expectations were of them in that moment. And, you know, they executed them properly.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, JV.
Have a good night.